Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Kryptonic, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my OBS settings, and that basically will let you figure out how to start streaming and get yourself out there, because a lot of the times OBS is really the thing that just holds people back from streaming because they think this program is so complicated, I'm never going to figure it out. So I'm basically here to help you guys figure that out. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, make sure to drop a like on it. But anyways guys, let's get straight into the video. If you have a pesky Windows 10 watermark in the bottom right of your monitor, then today's sponsor has got you covered. CDK Offers is able to provide discounted popular digital games and of course softwares such as antivirus security, Windows 10 Office, and of course Windows 10 Pro. Thankfully, CDK Offers makes it very simple for you guys. All you guys have to do is head over to the link I have provided down below, and you guys will be redirected to their website where you guys can just kind of click buy now. Once you click buy now, it'll ask you if you have any discount codes, and you guys can put in the code KH20 and it'll bring the price from $17 to around $14 to give you guys a little price discount there. And once you guys have purchased it, all you guys have to do is transfer the activation key from your email to your settings tab where you can activate it, and once you have it activated, your Windows 10 watermark will just disappear like that. It's very simple and easy to do, and if you guys are irritated by that watermark, then it's a very easy way to do it without having to spend around $100 to $200 on Windows 10. I use CDK Offers for all my computer builds, and I would highly suggest that you guys check them out. Okay, now that I'm on my computer, all you guys have to do is just go over to the OBS website and download it. It's either for Windows, Mac, or Linux. Very simple, very easy to do. And once you guys have done that, just close out your web browser and head over to OBS. Now, as you guys can see, I have my OBS display here, but I'm going to disable it, and this is something I'm going to talk about later, but disabling that saves a lot of resources basically, and it's very easy to do. You just right click and disable. So now we're going to head over to the settings and get into the nitty gritty of things here. So general, you don't really have to touch anything here. This is all basically default. Stream, you just want to make sure that you log in with your Twitch in order to get the panel for chat and for stream information. If you don't log in, you're not getting those panels on OBS Studio, and they're very useful to have because it's your chat and your stream information that you can just update at any given time. So very, very useful to have. Make sure you log in. Now, heading over to the output, this is where things get very interesting because this is where people get confused in general. There are two different encoders in output. There's NVEC and there's X264. NVEC uses your GPU, and if you guys have an AMD GPU, then you guys won't have this option because NVEC is only for NVIDIA GPUs, and even some older NVIDIA GPUs don't support it. So you just kind of have to make sure that you have something like 780 Ti and newer basically to get it. So you just have to make sure of that. And if you guys have a decent processor, then I'll show you guys another set of settings to do after this. So we're going to stick to NVEC because NVEC uses my RTX 2060 to stream, and I think that's fantastic. It doesn't really hoard down my computer in any way. I don't feel a slowdown that much in comparison to when I use X264 and my Ryzen 2700 starts struggling. So for rate control, we're keeping it on CBR, which is controlled bitrate, and it'll just try to keep the bitrate around 6,000. And now you guys might be thinking, why does he have 6,000 and what the hell is bitrate? Bitrate is basically just your internet, and the best way to test your internet is going over to Google and just looking up speed test. Once you guys hit that, you guys are literally just going to have to hit run speed test on Google, and this will basically give you your upload and download, which is always good to know in case you didn't know it before. Sometimes your internet plans tell you they're giving you one plan and in reality it's something else. So this is always something nice to know. And your upload is what you're going to be using for streaming, and as you guys can see, mine is around 10 megabits in comparison to my 500 megabit download. So I know. So I have around 10 megabits to stream with. So that means that out of those 10, I'm going to be using 6 to stream, which is perfectly fine, leaving a lot of, open upload speed around my house, which is always something you have to be wary of. If you have around 5 megabits, then streaming at like 3,500 bitrate might not look that great because NVEC is so demanding of bitrate to get that quality. Basically, NVEC, your GPU uses a lot of the internet that you supply it to give it quality instead of just giving quality without receiving too much internet. So that's kind of how NVEC works. It is a little demanding, but also if you have a GPU that's like decent, it's going to perform flawlessly. Now for preset, I like to keep it on max quality just so that I get the most quality out of my streams. Basically for profile, I like to keep it on high because this means that everything is just working a little bit smoother and it's not basically letting itself slow down only to get caught up again. So look ahead is something that I like to keep on because it basically uses B-frames to give me more quality. Look ahead and cycle visual tuning are two things that were kind of added into OBS not too long ago, but also not too recently, and they basically just use a little bit more power from your graphics card to give you a little bit more quality. So it's a give and take. You can turn them off, but I honestly don't feel much of a difference, and for stream purposes I can see it look a little bit nicer, so I like keeping them on. And now if you're one of those people that likes to use X264, then I'm going to be showing you guys some settings that I like to use for this, because it's not always a bad thing, but it's just depending on the game that you're playing. If I'm playing Warzone, I can't use X264. My processor can't handle playing Warzone at like 144 Hz and streaming it. That's way too much happening. And now if you guys are one of those people that likes to use X264, then props to you, your processor is probably deadly. And for rate control, I like keeping it the same controlled bitrate. Bitrate, I like to keep it at around 5000 because you don't have to give it as much bitrate as you would on NVENC. That's something very important to keep in mind. And for CPU usage, you can always go down to around fast or medium. This will affect your CPU usage, but if you have a really nice CPU like an i9-9900, an R7 3700X or something like that, then running this at like fast would be perfectly fine with a profile of maybe high, just to get it up there and working functionally and not just, you know, looking good, but it starts to chunk up over time. Having that profile on high will kind of make everything work a little bit faster, and it'll just look and perform a little bit better. But like I said, I like keeping my stuff on NVENC just because it runs off of my GPU, and that's so much easier to run off of than my CPU. Now heading over to the recording tab, you just want to make sure that your recording format is on MP4. A lot of the times it's on FLV, and you won't really be able to use that unless you convert it. So MP4 just to keep things simple. And for the bitrate on this, it's actually way higher because you're not feeding it internet, you're just kind of feeding it power. So I would say that you could raise this to around 20,000 bitrate. I've seen people go all the way up to 50,000 bitrate. So it really just comes down to what you're doing. And for preset and profile, I like to keep it the same. And in this one, I don't have look ahead enabled, but like I said, it's a give and take. You could turn it off, turn it on. It's very minimal difference that you see, but it's a difference there, I guess. And now coming down to audio, I just always like to make sure that my main microphone is actually labeled as my first microphone on OBS, just because sometimes you plug in a headset and then that becomes your microphone as your default on your computer, and then everything swaps if you have it on default. So just make sure that you always have the right headphones and the right microphone adjusted to your OBS. And now in the video tab, this is where things actually get really interesting because you're almost done and there are just a few little things that you want to make sure you have. The base canvas resolution is just your monitor. If you guys have a 4K monitor, that'll be 4K. I have a 1080p monitor, so this is 1080p. And now for output, I have it at 720p, and this is basically what people on Twitch will be seeing it as. If you guys are on Twitch, YouTube, whatever you're doing, this is basically the resolution people get. And now a lot of people like to stream at 1080p, but on Twitch it's not really worth it because you're not getting that support from Twitch to get you that allocated bandwidth to keep that selection up. And also when you're streaming and you're not a partner, you don't get that cogwheel on Twitch to allow you to change the resolution. So a lot of people, if their internet is really bad and you're only streaming it at 1080p, you're literally cutting off your audience, so it's not convenient to do that. And I just like to keep it at 720p since it's also easier on your GPU when you're streaming using NVENC. And now for the downscale filter, I like to keep it on 36 samples just to keep it sharp and making it look good. And for common FPS values, I keep it on 60 so that everything just feels really smooth. My games are usually like Warzone, Rocket League, Overwatch, games that are fast FPS games, so that would require, you know, 60 FPS minimum. And now the final thing is just hotkeys. If you guys have hotkeys, you guys can customize it. I honestly just like hitting start streaming, and that's really all I do. For advanced, I like to keep my process priority at above normal just because I want my CPU to utilize OBS a little bit more, so that OBS has priority over everything else, so that my streaming can go as smoothless as possible. And yeah, these are basically all my settings just to keep OBS running as smooth as possible, and everything like that seems to work out for me. And like I said in the beginning, if you want to right click on your OBS and disable or enable the preview, this can actually save you a lot of resources. So you can just right click and disable it, and just like that, you're going to be running a smoother ship. OBS, for some reason, just disabling the preview seems to save a lot of resources, and it's such a simple little fix. But anyways guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about all of this. I love making OBS videos for you guys because I know a lot of people out there are just struggling to figure out how to stream, and I'm basically just here to help you guys. If you guys have any comments, leave them down below. I try to get to them as soon as possible, and I try to help you guys out. If you guys need specific help, then just make sure to leave your computer list down below and your internet speeds, and I will basically try to give you the best answer I can. Anyways guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. My name is Kryptonic. Make sure to catch my streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 AM Pacific Standard Time, and I will catch you guys later. Peace guys.